Hello everyone, welcome to video lectures and ISR initiative by SSMRV College. SSMRV College, one of the premier institutions run by the prestigious RV group of institutions, has come up with a unique initiative to engage students at the time of this unforeseen medical emergency caused by corona outbreak. As a socially responsible institution, we would like to connect academically with students to make good the losses caused. In this connection, I, Neeta SS of Department of Computer Applications, has posted a video on the subject Visual Programming and the topic Interfacing Other Applications. Please watch the video till the end and like, share with your peer groups and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you. Some features for the MDI. If one document is maximized, all documents are maximized. The child documents are confined to the borders of the mainframe. If a document gets minimized, it will display its button inside the mainframe. If a document is not minimized, it would display inside the mainframe, either with its original size or the size of the user had given. So both menus use the same menu bar, meaning that the application cannot display two frame menus at one time. Okay, if no document is displaying, the mainframe is equipped with a simplified menu with limited but appropriate operations. So the user can only create a new document, only open an existing document, or simply close the application. So these are all the features of MDI. So when MDI application is created, the classes supported for this MDI is CWinApp, CMDI FrameWind, CMDI ChildWind, CDocument, CView. These are all the derived class which are supported for the MDI application. So as you all know, CMDI FrameWind means which is derived from mainframe of the application. It provides an enclosed space on the desktop where all application interaction takes place. So this frame window is the frame to which the menu and toolbars are attached. Next, in the MDI, we have CMDI child window, CMDI child WND, which is derived from C child frame class. This is the frame that holds CView class. It is a frame that passes messages and events to the view class for processing or display. In a sense, the functionality of the frame class in the SDI application has been split into these two classes in an MDI. So next, important topic, splitter windows. MFC, that is Microsoft Foundation class, supports three common user interfaces which requires multiple views on the same document. What are those models? That are, we can view objects of the same class, each in a separate MDI document frame window. Okay, we can view objects of same class in the same document frame window, that is splitter windows. Okay, so in splitter windows we are viewing objects of same class in the same document frame window. There is another model, that is view objects of different classes in a single frame window. So first we'll see what is this splitter windows. In a splitter windows, the window is split into two or more scrollable pans. A splitter control or split box in the window frame next to scroll bars allows the user to adjust the relative sizes of the pans. Each pan is a view on the same document. We have two types here, that is dynamic splitters and static splitters. In dynamic splitters, the views are of same class. That is multiple view user interfaces. In dynamic splitters, views are of same class. In static splitters, the views can be of different classes. The views can be of different classes. Splitter windows of both kinds are supported by the class C splitter window. Okay, so as I mentioned, dynamic splitter windows means with views of the same class. Allows the user to split a window into multiple pans and then scroll different pans to see different parts of the document. The user can also unsplit the window to remove the additional views. Next, static splitter windows. Static splitter window with views of different classes. Start with window split into multiple pans, each with a different purpose. For example, splitter windows of both kinds are supported by class C splitter window, as I mentioned. Okay, so example, in the Visual C++, we have bitmap editor. The image window shows two pans side by side. The left hand pan displays a life-sized image of the bitmap. The right hand pan displays a zoomed or magnified image of the same bitmap. So these pans are separated by a splitter bar that the user can drag to change the relative sizes of the pans. Next topic, SDI, Single Document Interface, refers to a document that can present only one view to the user. This means that application cannot display more than one document at a time. If the user wants to view another type of document of the current application, one must have another instance of the application. Examples, Notepad, WordPad are used to open only one document. Next, exception handling. An exception means programs stops working normally and needs to stop its execution. An exception may occur because of the following instance. Program accesses an invalid memory address. So it can be null pointer. If you are trying to access a null pointer, you will get an exception. Stack overflows due to infinite recursion. Large block of data is written into a small buffer. Memory buffer can't be allocated because of out of memory. Invalid parameter is passed to a C++ function. These are all the causes for the exception. So VC++ provides its own support for this exception handling. The three keywords we use here are try, catch, throw. So what is try? Trying the normal flow. To deal with the expected behavior of a program, we use the try keyword with the following syntax. Try, open brace, you are writing some condition there is behavior, close the brace. It lets the compiler know that we are attempting a normal flow of the program. Okay, so the actual behavior that needs to be evaluated is included between an open curly bracket and the closing curly bracket. Inside the brackets, you implement the normal flow that program should follow. Next, catch. During the flow of the program, if an abnormal behavior occurs, instead of letting the program to crash or sending the error to the operating system, we can transfer the flow of the program to another section. Okay, so for that we use catch keyword. So instead of trying to send some errors to the operating system or making that program to crash, we can send some message, or we can just transfer the flow of program to the another section. We can use catch. So catch, it behaves like a function. It uses argument. So the syntax says catch open bracket, and we have an argument. You have to mention the argument, close the bracket, where exactly that errors are occurring, that you have to mention. In the open brackets, what you have to do, you have to mention and close the bracket. Okay, so the catch behaves like a function. It uses an argument that may be passed by the previous try section. The argument can be a regular variable or it can be a class. So the behavior of the catch here starts with opening curly braces and it ends with the closing curly bracket. So the inside of the curly brackets, we call it as body of the catch clause. So that's why the body of the catch to deal with the error that was caused. Next we have throw. Throwing an error. There are two main ways. An abnormal program behavior is transferred from the try block to the catch clause. This transfer is actually carried by throw keyword. Okay, so throw keyword means throwing an error. It is used to throw an exception. Program execution jumps to the first line of the catch program block. Next concept we have OLE, that means object linking and embedding. It is a mechanism that allows users to create and edit documents containing items or objects created by multiple applications. OLE documents integrate various types of data or components such as sound clips, spreadsheets, and bitmaps. Supporting OLE in the application allows users to use OLE documents without worrying about switching between the different applications. Any application written can be a container, a server, or both. A container application is used to create compound documents, and a server application or component application to create the items within the container document. We have different features of OLE. We have link. Okay, so linking and embedding are the two methods for storing items created inside an object linking and embedding document that were created in another application. So what is visual editing? We also call it as in-place activation. Activating an embedded item in the context of the container document is called in-place activation or visual editing. Automation. Automation allows one application to drive another application. Okay. The driving application is known as automation client, and the application being driven is known as automation server or automation component. This automation works in both OLE and active technology context. We can automate any object based on the component object model. So next we have compound files. It provides a standard file format that simplifies structured storing of compound documents for OLE application. Next, UDT. It is a set of interfaces that allows data to be sent and received in a standard fashion. Drag and drop. It is an easy to use direct manipulation technique to transfer data among applications. It can be within windows, within an application, or even within a single window in an application. Component Object Model (COM) provides the infrastructure used when OLE objects communicate with each other. So we have different advantages of using OLE. Okay, so with OLE, applications can perform one job very well. Okay, so that means if you are drawing any application, it specializes only drawing. It no longer needs any text editing tools, because we can bring in the text into the drawing using an OLE link itself, from an OLE link to a text editor that supports OLE. So using OLE, applications can automatically be extended for future data formats. We can concentrate on the task we are performing instead of concentrating on multiple applications required to complete the task. So this concept can be summarized as a task-centric rather than tool-centric view of computing. And we have one more advantage. With OLE, we can print or transmit documents without using the application that originally produced the document. Okay, we can also update linked objects in a file dynamically. So one example I'll give you for this. If we update a linked object, so we can copy this link to some other folders. It can be in Excel, it can be in Word document. Okay, so now that you have updated the link, you have opened Word, you have opened Excel. Now if you are trying to access that link, it should display the updated data only. This is one advantage of using this. Okay, so that's why OLE is important. So we can also have more compact with OLE. The data of a linked object is stored in the original server document rather than in the client document. Okay. Example, if you link a company's revenue spreadsheet to 3 different Word or Windows documents, the spreadsheet is stored on the disk one time only. So the Word documents require only a link to the spreadsheet. This is a major advantages of using OLE. Next, we'll discuss about DLL, Dynamic Link Library. It is an executable file that acts as a shared library of functions. Okay, so dynamic linking provides a way for a process to call a function that is not part of its executable code. The executable code for the function is located in a DLL which contains one or more functions that are compiled, linked and stored separately from the processes that use them. So DLLs also facilitate the sharing of data and resources. So multiple applications can simultaneously access the contents of a single copy of DLL memory. Dynamic linking differs from static linking in that it allows an executable module, either a .dll extension or .exe extension. We use this only to include the information needed at runtime to locate the executable code for DLL function. So what do we use in static linking? The linker gets all the referenced functions from the static link library and places it with your code into your executable. Okay, so using dynamic linking instead of static linking offers different advantages. So that DLLs saves memory, it saves disk space. Many applications can share a single copy of the DLL on the disk. So each application built with a static link library has the library code linked into its executable image as a separate copy. It also reduces swapping and it saves disk space. Upgrades easier. Upgrades to the DLL are easier because when the functions in a DLL change, the applications that use them do not need to be recompiled or relinked, as long as the function's arguments and return values do not change. So in reverse, statically linked object code requires that application should be relinked when the functions change. So DLL provides aftermarket support. Example, a display driver DLL can be modified to support a display that was not available when the application was shipped. So when you have an application, when you are using, maybe the feature was not there, but later they can modify it. So that's what they say, provides aftermarket support. DLL provides a mechanism to extend MFC library classes. That means you can derive classes from the existing MFC, Microsoft Foundation classes, and place them in an MFC extension DLL for use by MFC application. So DLL supports multi-language programs. That means programs written in different programming languages can call the same DLL function as long as the programs follow the function's calling convention. One disadvantage of using DLLs is that the application is not self-contained. It depends on the existence of a separate DLL module. Thank you for watching. Happy learning.